It is. So we obviously didn't have an awful lot of money in those days, and my father was a miner, and so were all of my brothers. I was the only one that didn't go into the mining industry. And
well, your mother died too. Do you have any like visual memories of her? Like, do you remember her?
No, none. She, not that I can remember or recall.
What was it like growing up without a mom?
Well, after my mother passed, we were all somewhat divided up, and my youngest brother went to live with my eldest brother, and I went to live with my eldest sister and her husband, who was also a miner. And I'd spend the weeks with them, and then the weekends back with the rest of my family.
Okay, so you were pretty different from what you were used to when you were growing up. Huh?
Yes. It was an odd thing. I never wanted or dreamt of being an actor. It wasn't something that was on my mind. Just sort of something happened. I had a mentor that's still alive, a gentleman by the name of Philip Burton, who is a wonderful person who's still in my life. He lives in Key West now, and he was the one that encouraged me, and he would take me up to the mountains, and he would teach me the classics, the Shakespeare, and he had a wonderful little trick of making me recite Shakespeare backwards. But yeah, he was the one that got me into it. I actually, when I was 14 and a half, I starred in a silent movie. That was my first piece. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was a very odd piece. Probably missing in obscurity now. I probably won't be able to find it anywhere. So don't try.
Tell me about your first trip to Hollywood. That would have been even more so. From Wales to London, and then from London to Hollywood.
Well, I mean, you say it's amazing. I think actually working down in a mine is something that is quite amazing. I think, it's my father. I mean, he loved what he did, but it was a very, very, very tough job. Very tough job, and all I have to do is show up and know my lines. Hollywood is I mean, it's a very, very strange place, and of course there's many strange and wonderful people here, but it's full of creativity, and I think as for these parties and such what, it doesn't really interest me that much, to be honest with you.
So like jumping forward now, like to you and Elizabeth, how did the pair of you meet, first off?
Well, I first laid eyes on Elizabeth at a party in Hollywood, and I knew when I very first saw her that she was the one, really, and even though she looked at me with utter disdain, I knew that one day she was going to be mine, arrogant, really. But
did she know who you were?
No. I mean, I was just a theatre actor from London, and she wouldn't give me the time of day. And she was quite the star, and obviously Oscar winner, and everybody loved Elizabeth, and
but you kind of went out of your way for her many times, bidding for the diamond, which was a wonderful thing to do, but did it not get you into some financial trouble? There were reports of that.
Well, it's one of those things, really, when you have so much money and you come from nothing and you don't really realize the value of things. And we just thought that money grew on trees back then. And we would, Elizabeth would treat me to art, fantastic pieces of art, and I would reciprocate by buying her jewelry, and that was her love. And I didn't think anything of spending over $1 million to buy her what she wanted. But I think one of Elizabeth's favorite words was more. She was a child actress, and she obviously was adored and beautiful, and she was getting to a certain age, and I think she was very insecure that she wasn't beautiful anymore, or that she wasn't a leading lady anymore. And for us to spend as much time as we possibly could together, she often found herself being my leading lady. I think for me, one of the most happiest times with Elizabeth was when we lived on a yacht. I don't know if you know that, but the paparazzi were quite intrusive, and they followed us everywhere we went. And also there was this little thing that we didn't realize, but we had to pay taxes.
How rich is not having a lot of money? I mean, what is not having a lot of money to Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton?
Well,
you weren't poor.
Well, there were times when we definitely overspent. Let's put it that way. I mean, how much money does somebody need to be happy? I mean, it's a pretty big question, I think, that only you personally can answer. Elizabeth was very strong, and she liked to smack me around a little bit, but
Well, Richie threw things along.
she liked to throw things. Yes, she did. Yes, she ruined quite a few hotels. I mean, what couples don't argue and row,
You two in particular.
Well, I think ours was made a little bit more public, obviously because we were both at the height of our careers, and the whole world was watching.